Okay, so you have to, this is drawing from the book Lighting the Fires of Freedom, which is by Dr. Janet Dewart Bell, who is a very good friend of mine. She and I co-teach in New York at Baruch College, and we met in the PhD program together with Antioch University in Ohio. Her husband was the former Derek Bell, who was a very well-known internationally and national social justice attorney, best known for giving up his tenure at Harvard College, one of the first, the only minority who was a tenured instructor, but because they did not or would not hire additional minorities, he left his post, which was like unheard of, to give up a tenured position. And he became a professor at NYU for the rest of his career after working for the Oregon, Pennsylvania college, and he never would accept a regular professorial position again. They had to contract with him year after year, and they asked him why he just wouldn't become a tenured instructor, and even though he had many years and opportunity to do so, and it was just a matter of principle for him on that point on. And the thing I liked about him the most is that he always said that if someone was good enough to be his secretary, they were also good enough to become a lawyer. So he had about 17 secretaries throughout his career as a law professor, and all of them except one became attorneys. Dr. Derek Bell has a very, very strong following. He is best known for the theory of his wife, Derek Bell, for their wedding anniversary in his 60th birthday, she gave him a lecture series, or what do you call it, endowed a lecture series at NYU, and it's the Derek Bell lecture series on race in America, which I attend every year. And she wrote this book because it was time for her to step out and have her own acknowledgments of her own abilities. She had been by his side and promoting him for years. And this book, she just learned yesterday, has been nominated for NAACP Image Award.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I'm very happy for her. So this is the book that will be gifted today by some lucky person. So turn your head.
No favors.
Yeah, make sure they're all separate. And reach in. No looking, reach in. Okay, and we did say on post, but I don't think I said it here. Who is Jennifer A? That
Naomi's daughter.
that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jatan's daughter.
Jatan's great niece.
Just daughter, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so one book, one winner.
Beautiful.
I'll make sure she gets it. So
That's Jenny, that's her daughter.
Oh, yeah, that's her daughter, because her
Yeah.
grandniece is Spencer. Yeah, that's right. Jennifer, okay.
Call her Jatan, let her
All right,
daughter.
and I just want to call out one other thing. I know the meeting is over, but you know Ida B. Wells.
Yes.
And so Ida B. Wells was she was a teacher, educator. That's why one reason I really like her. But at a very young age, at 14 years old, she was teaching. And she also was an abolitionist who fought very hard against lynching. But the significance, and you can read it in this book, is that she was also editor in the newspaper called The Free Speech. And The Free Speech was a newspaper that was started by my great-great-grandfather, Taylor Nightingale. And so he's mentioned a few times in the book and several other books with Ida B. Wells. And so Ida B. Wells, Frederick Douglass, and Taylor Nightingale were cohorts. My great-great-grandfather was more the business person. He was the owner of the Free Speech, and he was less anti-lynching abolitionist, so he was a little bit afraid of Ida B. Wells because she was a very outspoken, put it out on the table. And one of the articles that she wrote and that were published in his newspaper got the vigilante group riled up. They broke into the press one evening when Ida B. Wells was in New York, and his assistant, Mr. Fleming, their co-partner, was there, and they took him to jail, and the vigilantes broke into the jail and took him out and hung him. And then, under the force of a gun to his head, my great-grandfather was forced to admit or to say that that these people were not lynchers, which they really were. And at that point, he left and went to Oklahoma, where he stayed for 17 years before coming back to Tennessee and being the minister at the historic and monumental Beale Street Baptist Church, which is historical landmark in Memphis, Tennessee, on Beale Street. So you can see his name on the signage that. Well, it's a metal post that's out in front of the church that says, Reverend Taylor Nightingale, minister, in the years in which he was minister of this historic Baptist church. So just to mention that, if you think I'm a rebel, I got it honest. So thank you.
What brought you to Venice?
Mm-hmm.
What brought you and your family to Venice?
My family moved to Venice in the 50s. And been here ever since.
So I'm gonna.
I'll go at 57, so she brought them back. Come home.
I guess I'll close off with a song. I guess since we're gonna conclude this beautiful third annual Black History Month event space.
Yeah.
And for those who've been here for a while, most of the day, you've been witness to a lot of passionate energies today, and thank you for sticking around and not getting scary and taking off. Considering some of the passionate displays and things that go on. A lot of in Native culture we call that the coyote trickster spirit, where it's not a bad thing. It's just used to distract you and keep you on your focus on your prayer. With the prayer being here, we're holding space for the Black History and our humble presentation with our humble crowd, and you're gonna get to different distractions happening. The fact that we stay on on keeping that space for the history and honor of our ancestors. I thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
And so I'm gonna sing a closing song. This is a friendship song. This here is a clapping stick. This is the instrument that the local Southern California natives use, most namely the Tongvas and the Akachmen. I don't know if Chumash used it. Chumash might use it too, but they didn't have drums. They used this clapping stick. And so in honor of in the spirit of acknowledging the space, acknowledging where we're at, this native land, this native Tongva land, and acknowledging our friendship with each other and holding that good space in a good way. I'm singing a song. It's basically a friendship gathering song. So, as we.
You want us to stand up?
Oh no! I mean, yeah. Well, if you want to stand up, it's fine. Whatever you feel like doing, as long as you're.
I feel like
open.
circling it.
Okay, yeah. Let's circle up. Let's do it. Ever come on in? Yeah.
We love to do circles.
Yeah. Come on in. Don't be
They make
shy.
sense. They
Yeah,
make
come on
sense.
in,
Bring the
yeah.
energy in. Can you,
Yeah.
Ken?
Come on, okay. Okay, I have to sing that one second.
Join
Wait,
them.
You don't have to hold that. As long as you're in the circle, it's fine.
Let
Yeah.
them if you-
Let me just make sure.
Let's close the gaps here. That's what
Yeah.
So let's yeah. Let's make sure there's no gap, because otherwise it's not a circle, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So close
Let's
it.
hold hands under this.
Yeah. You can hold it. You don't have to hold it if you want to, but if you want to, you
We
can.
want
It's
to.
fine.
We like it.
Energy to flow.
Okay. So thank you for everybody for being here. May we walk off in a good way. And continue to hold more spaces, for community and uplifting, despite the distractions. Hey, 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 I'm doing. 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 Hey, I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing. Hey, 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 I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing. Hey, 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 I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing. Hey, I'm doing. There you go. Thank you. Thank everybody who took the time to be here and put their good energy in here, and even the people who didn't bring the best of energy. It's all part of the process, and respect to the ancestors and the Black History of Venice. Forward.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Naomi and Miguel.
And Margaret and John and everybody, Ingrid, everybody makes a space.
Thank you.